Tariffs have been talk of the town for a good while now, and for good reason. President Trump's tariffs are meant to encourage manufacturing to return here to the United States, from vehicles to food products. But a lot of America's prescription drug supply chain comes from China. About 90% of the components of prescription drugs that end up in the United States begin in China. And with the trade war going on between the U.S. and China, we need to be relying on ourselves more than ever. Here with me to discuss this is the Chief Scientific Officer at the wellness company, Dr. Peter McCullough. Doctor, nice to see you again. I read this book a number of years ago, China RX by Rosemary Gibson. Really opened my eyes to what's going on. And we have basically surrendered the manufacture of pharmaceuticals, whether it's for obesity or diabetes or high blood pressure, whatever it might be. The majority of these drugs come from China. I think that's a very dangerous situation. I think it's about national security. What say you?
I agree that the prescription drug and actually over-the-counter drug supply comes from China by and large. And hopefully through all of this, our Department of Commerce and FDA will make moves to bring pharmaceutical manufacturing back to the U.S. In the meantime, patients need to look at their stockpile and their supplies right now at the our emergency kit and our prescription program.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you talk about all these products and the components coming from China, what occurs to me is the safety and efficacy. I mean, I've heard about a lot of, bogus drugs coming from China, ripoffs, fakes that can be dangerous as well. How do I know that the drugs coming from China can be trusted?
We can't do on-site FDA inspections like we can in the United States for U.S.-based biopharmaceuticals. So we have to rely on this kind of post-marketing self-report and inspection. It'd be far better if our critical drugs were produced here in the United States.
Yeah, and India, also a lot of our drugs come from there. Now, isn't a healthcare system that relies on a foreign power? I mean, right now, China's saying no to sending us rare earth minerals and rare earth elements. What if China says no to antibiotics? I mean, the last antibiotic factory in America was bankrupted in 2004 by China in upstate New York. And what China had done, they bought all the antibiotic plants around the world. They dropped the price through the floor, bankrupted the company in New York. And so we have no supply. And it's not like antibiotics is something you just go ramp up the factory and get going. It takes about 2 years, right? It's not something you can just wave a magic wand and be done and go on. It doesn't work that way, does it?
No, it doesn't. We should invest in some of our generic manufacturers to have plants here in the United States work on it now. This brinkmanship between the U.S. and China on tariffs is frightening my patients. I'm doing everything I can to build up their supplies. But again, wellness company, we've got great resources to get people through.
You do. In fact, I've got one of them right here in my hand. This is the medical emergency kit, one of many kits put together by the wellness company. And in this kit, you will find antibiotics and a whole host of other things that if there's a pinch, if there's a supply chain issue, if there's a tornado, a hurricane, a natural disaster, you're cut off from the pharmacy or your pharmacy goes out of business in your neighborhood and you have a problem. You guys have put together these great kits, haven't you?
We do, and we have a replenishment program. If people have used even one tablet out of the bottle, please move on the replenishment program, get restocked. We've got 2 pharmacies, one in Boca Raton, one in Beaumont, Texas. Also, for those who are members, they can get their routine chronic medications refilled through our Beaumont, Texas pharmacy.
Let me ask you about these tariffs and so forth and this struggle back and forth between China and the United States. China is the only one that still has tariffs in place from the U.S. from what's happening, a 90-day pause for everybody else, my understanding. But can these tariffs lead to drug shortages, increases in pricing, problems for patients? Is that what you're hearing? I mean, there's real concern here.
Well, for sure, especially inpatient side, because they go through group purchasing organizations. So if GPO can't find the margin, they're going to drop that product altogether. So expect drug shortages in the hospital.
Yeah, and that is very concerning. So I guess, the question is, what can Americans do? What can people watching this program right now or listening to you, what can they do to make sure they have the critical medications on hand while these tariffs continue to play out globally?
The safest is to get a wellness company, elite membership, get fully enrolled and be ready. We've got several months we can work with. We're well positioned here at the wellness company to not raise prices and get through this gap period that we're going to have.
Absolutely. Now, make sure you and your loved ones are taken care of and protected, just like Dr. McCullough says. Go to twc.health/voice. Use the promo code VOICE today. You'll save some money, and you can get involved with these memberships. You can check the prescriptions. You can see all the other great products that are there. Dr. McCullough, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
twc.health/voice. Look, I have these kids. You know, I have them right here. And in fact, when I was on spring break last week, they have an emergency travel kit now. Just throw in your luggage. Away you go. You've got things you can use when you're on vacation. If you're out of your home area or even out of the country, it goes with you every place I go. twc.health/voice. Use that promo code VOICE. You're going to save some money and get some great opportunity. Dr. Peter McCullough, one of the very best. Oh, and I think he was trained at the University of Michigan. See, another reason to like the guy.